You might think that someone who says that science is shit is just a troll, but you'd be wrong. He's actually a gnome. A space gnome.
Atheists are ignorant and dumb.
Whoa, trippy visuals, bro. It's like you're a gnome head, like in space, man. I get it. I get what you're going for, man. I get what you're saying. What is it exactly? The title of your video is Why Atheists Are Wrong and Ignorant. So what are your arguments for this conclusion? Well, you got 5 basic arguments. Number 1, atheists are the same as religious people, just on opposite ends of the spectrum. Never heard that before.
Well, both sides are ignorant and dumb. They are basically the same people, just on opposite sides of the argument. Except atheists are a little worse.
Number 2, science is bullshit because our current understanding could one day change.
The problem with this, especially using science, is that there are no laws.
No laws.
There are no facts.
No facts.
The truth is that science is shit.
Is shit.
We will never be able to truly prove something as a fact, because our knowledge and understanding will always be limited in the present. We have no idea what knowledge and understanding people will have in the future to disprove what we have right now and believe to be facts.
Number 3, if anything, science is more of an enemy to atheists because we haven't discovered everything yet.
And now I'll get into why atheists are worse than churchy freaks. First off, they have no logic. Well, they do, but it's shit.
It's shit.
An atheist's go-to argument usually involves science and the theory of evolution and the Big Bang Theory. But those theories, if real, could just as easily have been the work of a higher being. Both sides can try to argue those in their favor. If anything, science is more of an enemy to atheists.
Number 4, atheists are just rebelling against their upbringings.
But now I'm going to finish up here with some more pathetic ways in which atheists are dumb. A lot of them are actually just rebelling against their upbringings or against the pushy church freaks they've grown up around.
Number 5, atheism's just trendy.
Then you have the educated, snobby idiots who look down on religion and beliefs as just being for the gullible and simple-minded. They think they are being intelligent, but in reality they are just being ignorant dumbasses with no critical thinking ability. You also have a lot of atheists because it's becoming trendy. There are too many dumb shits in the world who just want to fit in somewhere.
Like, remember YOLO? Couple years ago, every douchebag was saying YOLO. Now you don't see that anymore. That's atheism. Just a trend like YOLO. In fact, atheism and YOLO are kind of interconnected because they both say that you only live once. As you guys can see, though, I am dealing with an intellectual giant here. He may be gnome-sized in physical body, but his intellect is vast beyond reason. Perhaps that's what the gnome in the universe symbolizes. The universe is his massive intellect, capable of generating such brilliant arguments that cannot even be contradicted.
I know I've dropped a lot of knowledge bombs on you, and I know there will be people dumb enough to try to argue with my truth, but you will be wrong. There's no arguing with what I've said here. Take it and make yourself better.
You cannot contradict the Space Gnome. It's kind of a song in my head at this point. You can't contradict the Space Gnome, baby. No, you can't contradict the Space Gnome. Okay, well, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to contradict the Space Gnome, as daunting a task as it is. Let's start with argument number 2, that science is bullshit because our current understanding could one day change. It's sort of strange how he says that science is bullshit and then uses science to bolster his own arguments. I mean, there's a rule in the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey. It says, acknowledge the power of magic. Like, I should probably say this in an evil voice, since it is the founder of the Church of Satan.
Acknowledge the power of magic if you have employed it successfully to obtain your desires. If you deny the power of magic after having called upon it with success, you will lose all that you have obtained.
Spooky. I don't believe in magic, personally, but I think if you substitute the word science for the word magic, then you're actually onto something. In other words, acknowledge the power of science if you have employed it successfully to obtain your desires. If you deny the power of science after having called upon it with success, you will lose all you have obtained. You cannot simultaneously deny science and apply science. It doesn't fucking work like that. Science may not deliver us the absolute, perfect truth of the universe, but it's the closest thing that we have. It's gotten us closer to truth than any other method or discipline. We'll have more on that in a moment, but for now, let's move on to number 3. The idea that, if anything, science is more of an enemy to atheists because we haven't discovered everything yet. Whoa! Holy I don't know how to refute that argument, because you're right. We haven't discovered God yet. But that doesn't mean he's not out there. Just like I haven't sprouted wings yet. But I'm sure I will any second now. In fact, I think I feel him coming on. Oh. I guess it was just gas. I did have Mexican for lunch, so.
And now I'll get into why atheists are worse than churchy freaks. First off, they have no logic. Well, they do, but it's shit.
It's shit.
An atheist's go-to argument usually involves science and the theory of evolution and the Big Bang Theory. But those theories, if real, could just as easily have been the work of a higher being.
Evolution does not require God to explain it. It's a process that happens without any interference whatsoever from divine beings. The natural laws of the world that we exist within, coupled with natural selection and random genetic mutation, those forces can explain the diversity of life on this planet. As for the Big Bang Theory, you could say, well, maybe it was God that caused the Big Bang. Well, if our current understanding of the Big Bang is accurate, then there was no time before the Big Bang. No time means that there is no need for causality as we understand it now. So, the Big Bang didn't necessarily have to have a cause. That it's within the laws of physics for it to be an uncaused cause. You know, and to say that maybe God created it, you still have to then explain, where did God come from? Well, God was just always here. Well, if you're going to say that God can just exist for no reason, then why can't you just say that the universe exists for no reason? We know that there's a universe. We certainly don't know that there's a God. I mean, the point here is that evolution and the Big Bang, yeah, sure, can you shoehorn God in? Can you make him fit somewhere in that dynamic if you really want to? Yeah, because there's always going to be stuff that we don't know, stuff that we're not quite sure about. And you can always just say, well, wherever we're not sure, that's where God comes in. But if that was our attitude throughout history, then we would know nothing. We would never investigate anything. We'd just always assume, well, God must be doing it. It must be God. But it's not God. There's nothing about the Big Bang Theory or the theory of evolution that's just calling out for the introduction of the God concept to make it finally make sense. Because it already makes sense all on its own without any need for that sort of bullshit. Now, you may find the theory of evolution dubious. You may think the Big Bang Theory doesn't make a lot of sense. You may find both of these theories inconceivable. But in the words of physicist Loris Krauss, and I paraphrase, just because it's inconceivable only means that you can't conceive it. You see, the human mind did not evolve to understand the cosmos. It evolved to understand being a hunter-gatherer, because that's what human beings were for the vast majority of our history. All this science stuff, this is kind of new to us. You can see that, really, in our approach to it. You know, we like it when science gives us, like, oh, voice recognition technology, and oh, I have a smartphone, I have smart keys that unlock my car just when I stand next to it. and I can do all this stuff. I got all these scientific gizmos and gadgets that fucking make my life easier, or at least more interesting. And we like that, but then when science gives us the answers to questions that, maybe we feel a little bit uncomfortable with the answers it comes up with, then we're like, oh no, fuck you, science. What are you talking about? Universe is 13.7 billion years old? No way, it's only 6,000 years old. It was created by a god. What are you talking about? We descended from apes? No, we were created by God. Or, even if we were descended from apes were only that was a stage that God was going through. He was like, yeah, well, first I'll build the ape, that's like the scaffold, but then I'll fucking put the human over it, then I'll put the big brain in there, and then you get the soul package, but nothing else before humans. All the other animals, they don't get souls. Humans get souls because they're special, because I love them so very much, because I am a loving God. That's the kind of shit human beings want to hear, but that's not the truth. Okay? Now you say that maybe one day our understanding will change. Our scientific understanding will change, therefore what? What does that mean? Your idea is that we can't put any faith in science because science is always changing. Well, guess the fuck what? We can't live in a hypothetical future based on facts that we haven't yet fucking discovered. We gotta live in the here and now. We have to base our decisions on our current understanding of what science is, okay? We can't base it on what our future conception of science might well be, because that's no better than just speculating. That's no better than just pulling shit out your ass and being like, well, hey, this just might be the truth. I'm sorry, but just because our idea of reality may one day change doesn't mean that you can just change it to whatever you want at any time you want. The contention of number 3 and the contention of number 2, they're both wrong. So now let's take a look at contentions 1, 4, and 5. Let's destroy them in one fell swoop. In fact, it doesn't even take a full paragraph. It only takes one sentence. Furthermore, to refute all 3 of these, it only takes 2 words. Granted, one of them is a contraction, so maybe it's 3 words, but the sentence is, that's irrelevant. Let me show you how it works. Atheists are the same as religious people, just on opposite ends of the spectrum. That's irrelevant. Atheists are just rebelling against their upbringings. That's irrelevant. Atheism is just trendy. That's irrelevant. You know why? Because a person's reasons for believing something have nothing to do with whether or not that something is true. These are not factual arguments that get to the heart of this issue. These are just ad hominem attacks. Like, these people only believe this because of their own selfish reasons. Well, yeah, you know what? Even if you're right, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Sorry. So, Mr. Space Gnome, I know it's pointless to argue with you because you have figured out the truth, even though you say in your very video that the truth cannot be known because it's always changing, but somehow you still have possession of it. Must be quite the intellectual juggling act you've got going on in there, Mr. Space Gnome. But I know it's pointless to argue with you, because you have the absolute truth. Maybe you are God. Is that what you're going for here, Space Gnome? That's God? The annoying talking squirrel sidekick is like Jesus or the Holy Ghost or something? But anyway, I figured I'd waste my time and take a crack at refuting your obviously irrefutable points. I don't know why I chose to do it, just to make a fool of myself, trying to argue with what is obviously the truth. But I did, and whatever. I'm just a sucker. I'm a glutton for fucking punishment. What can I say? How'd I do? If you like this video, be sure to comment on it, rate it, subscribe to my channel, and be sure to buy my book, The Douchebag Bible. It's a compilation of 3 previously published books of mine. And, of course, be my patron on Patreon. The link for all that stuff is down below. I invite you to check it all out and to follow me on all my social networks and to basically just worship the ground I fucking walk on because, god damn it, I'm amazing. Oh, yeah.
We need more intelligent thinkers because people are dumb as hell.